What's the deal, my people? Thank you for joining me in my channel, Panama's OG Truth. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me right now. And before I get into this one, before I drop this heat, you already know how I do it, raw and uncut. If you have any children, anybody with a sensitive ear, please exit the room because I'm about to bring this wicked heat down the pipeline. Welcome to my prison chronicles. This is something that I don't glorify. This is something that I'm not bragging about. It's just honest experience, a point in my life where I was probably at this time, I already have been incarcerated probably about 4 years. So I was in my probably 20, 21 years old, no older than 21 years old. Like I said, I got incarcerated when I was 17 years old. And this takes back in the late 90s at this point in time. And we're going back to the Roach unit, the T.O. Roach unit, or as we call it, the Rock and Roach. And this is a prison in West Texas, Childress, Texas to be exact. And if you watch my other videos where I'm talking about the Crips versus the Woods, this takes place in a Roach unit. I have another video that also takes place in a Roach unit. So I've already chronicled the T.O. Roach unit at least twice in my prison chronicles. And like I said, man, this is how I remember it. This is how my recollection, my memory, and the only thing that's not accurate about my prison chronicles are the names of people. I'm not here to expose nobody. I'm not here to shame nobody. I'm not here to make fun of nobody. Like I said, this is some serious shit that I went through, that I've experienced, and people today, to this day, are living it, are experiencing it. I know people that are in there, for life. They're never going home. So we don't mock this. We don't make fun of it. If anything, this is an educational thing. This is something that I'm bringing to my people, my youth, my youngsters that are out there pistol playing, that are out there doing shit that's gonna get them caught up. So here we are, the T.O. Roach unit, and a lot of people think that when you get incarcerated, that when people go to prison, shit stops. And it does to an extent, okay? But you have different types of people in prison. You have people that are truly, truly remorseful for their crime and they're trying to change. Like literally, they're trying to change to the better. And then you have those that, they feel like, fuck it. I'm in here, I might as well continue doing my thing. It don't stop. And that could be with drugs, it could be with violence, it could be, sexual predators. You name it, you have all kinds of people that are incarcerated doing time for various reasons, okay? But then you have COs. And if you don't know what a CO is, short for Correctional Officer. You have COs that are in there, and they ain't no different. And when I say they ain't no different, they ain't no better than the people that are incarcerated. They ain't no better than the inmates. They ain't no better than the convicts. Real talk. Sometimes they might be worser. Yeah, they might be worser than the person is actually incarcerated. And when you have COs with a low self-esteem, in other words, they ain't never been about shit. They ain't never had no attention paid attention to them. And all of a sudden they get in a controlled environment where they have some type of authority. I mean, let's keep it 100, okay? You have people in there that work in their, 9-to-5 job, man and woman, that outside of those prison walls in society, they ain't shit. They don't run shit in their own household. Nobody pays attention to them. Nobody gives them, any leadway because, it is what it is. But then all of a sudden they get in a control environment where they have a form of authority, they have a form of power over X amount of people, and all of a sudden they feel tough. Or as in a woman, she might feel, sexy. She might feel attractive. She might feel like she's oozing sex appeal, And, let's be for real. A lot of these females, they don't have shit going for themselves out there in society, in their everyday life. They're not attractive, ain't no men, paying attention to them. And the man that they might be paying attention, he might be beating her, he might be degrading her, he might be abusing her, using her. It's endless, the shit that goes down. And once you get in a controlled environment and you have that form of authority, if you're not disciplined, If you don't have your screws on tight, you could easily start looking at things in a different way and feeling like, I can get away with these things. You know, I could do certain things. And that's what we get to right now. Okay? And anytime you have a bunch of men that are doing time, incarcerated for years already, you're gonna have a lot of men that have sexual needs. Okay? And when I say sexual needs, you know what I'm talking about. You wanna get your dick sucked. You wanna get some pussy. It's part of the game, okay? Especially if you come from a world where you had access to females any given time, okay? But then you have those that, like I said, man, you know, they're gonna do whatever they gotta do to continue getting those sexual needs satisfied, even if they're incarcerated, in the penitentiary, in prison. So you have certain guards, COs, that they capitalize on this situation. So I know you guys are like, what the fuck is he talking about? And look, this shit really happens. It happens more than what people imagine it happens, okay? So let me break it down to y'all. Like I said, man, raw and uncut Panama's OG truth, man, rock and roach unit, okay? You have a female officer, we're gonna call her Stacy, okay? And she has a daughter that also works in the prison at this time. Like I said, we're talking about late 90s, okay? So the daughter, let's call her Rachel, okay? So you have Stacy the mom, Rachel the daughter. They both are COs. They both are guards. They're working in the man's prison, okay? Stacy the mom, she's probably in her early 50s, okay? Kind of thick, you know, not scrawny, but she has some little bit of weight on her. Wore her fucking uniform tight as hell. Tight ass pants, tight ass shirt. You know, for an older woman, she had a decent body. Like we used to say in the penitentiary, she's fuckable. Okay, real talk. And then the daughter, this shit is crazy, cause the mom has some type of body on her. Okay, but the daughter, she was like a mango that had been dropped too many times on the floor. That's the best way I can put it. And I don't mean to offend nobody. I'm just telling y'all the truth, okay? She was all like, I don't know, man, like just sloppy. You know, she didn't have that firmness a young lady her age, because she was probably, you know, 24, 25, okay, at the time. She didn't have that. She was more like, you know, just there. And like I said, I don't mean to offend nobody. I'm just telling you 100. But anyway, so the mom, she was the CO in the school building. And every prison, 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna say every prison, I'm gonna say 9 times out of 10, prisons have an education building where inmates, convicts, they wanna go to school and further themselves while they're incarcerated. And they're permitted, in other words, they're not getting in trouble, they're not having disciplinary infractions. So they have the option to go to school, and some people get their GED. Like, for example, I got my GED. You know, that's the only reason I got my GED. I was able to do it when I was in prison. Some people take vocational classes. Some people take college classes. It's different ways of furthering yourself in the penitentiary. You just gotta want to do it. So they had an education building that was all the way at the end of the prison. Like you had the mailroom, then you had a gate. And once you cross that gate, the school building was the first building to your right hand side coming out that mailroom. Okay? And that school building is big, y'all. When I say it's big, numerous classrooms, bathrooms, storage room. It's a big room. Big building, that's what I'm trying to say. Well, Stacy, she was the CO that was in charge of that school building. And they had a security officer. The security officer, he's the guy that's making sure that nothing is going down in there. Ain't nobody trying to rape the female CO. Ain't nobody trying to steal nothing. Ain't nobody, you know, planning no gang hits in there. Because all kinds of shit goes on in these places. Okay? So he's the security. And we're going to call him, let's call him Tone. Okay? Yeah, let's call him Tone. So Tone is a security. He's the one in charge of all the security. Now, just imagine this, about 6'4", probably about 250, big old black dude, okay? And so you have Stacy, she's the CO that's in charge of the students and all that. Then you have Tone, he's in charge of security. Couple of weeks later, down the line, once they already have been there a couple of weeks, they're able to bring her daughter. I don't know how she did it. Then again, where there's a will, there's a way. Stacy has her daughter, Rachel, start also working in the school building. So now you got mom and you got daughter both working in the school building, okay? And so Tone, he's the security, okay? So you got mom, like I said, Stacy, you got daughter Rachel, and then you got Tone. Those are your 3 COs that are working the schoolhouse, the school building, okay? And at first, you know, I didn't know this shit was going down, but one of my homeboys, one of my partners that was going to school, he tells me one day that he walks into the closet. And when I'm talking about the closet, they had like a little janitor's closet where they had like mops, brooms, cleaning supplies. He walks in there to grab some toilet paper, all right? And when he walks in there, he said that you have the mom, the mom Stacy, she's giving an inmate some head. And he walks right back out like, shit, my bad, you know, I didn't see nothing. And he's like, damn, like, you know, how could I get some? How could I get my dick sucked? You know, and I'm like, damn, man, like, you know, he's telling me this shit. So, make a long story short, the security, Tone, he hears, I guess from the mom, that son-son's inmate walked up on them. So she's basically like telling Tone, hey, go holler at this dude, make sure he don't say nothing. You know, I don't want him running his mouth. And I get it. She's trying to cover her ass. Because if this shit gets out there, it's going to bring heat to her. It's going to cramp her style. Well, once the security, Tone, tells my homeboy, hey, man, you know, keep that between us. You know, you didn't see nothing. My homeboy's like, man, I ain't saying shit. You know, whatever is going down, that's part of her business. I don't say nothing. I don't get down like that. But what I do want to know is, how can I get my dick sucked? So he tells Tone, and Tone tells him straight up, shit, if you have the money, if you have the funds, I can make it happen. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, you know what I'm talking about. If you pay, I'll make sure that you get your dick sucked. So they agree on $250, okay? And I just want to explain something to y'all. At this time, there was no such thing as Cash App. There were no such thing as Venmo. There were no such thing as Zelle. There were none of this shit, none of these Cash Apps, okay? All you had was pen and paper, and you had to be careful with that, because if you were not speaking in codes and your kite was intercepted, there goes all your plans. So you had that way. You had visitation. In other words, you going to visit, you know, your family or friends. You know, you only can have contact visitation with immediate family. That's the way you could get it. Or money order. Okay? Or cash money. There's ways of getting cash money in prison. All right? So if you didn't have one of those means, you couldn't make this happen. But like I said, where there's a will, there's a way. So they agreed $250, okay? And Tone, he was basically the middleman. He would take the money from the inmates and he would set it up where you could come in the school building, what part of the school building, and he will have either the mom, Stacy, or the daughter Rachel waiting for you. You will go in there, get your dick sucked. If you wanted to get your dick sucked, it was $250. If you wanted to fuck, it was $500. Straight up. If you wanted pussy, $500. Now, that might seem like it's a lot, you know, compared to if you try to do that shit out here in the streets. And you gotta understand one thing. We're in a controlled environment. Men are incarcerated. Men haven't had sex in years, and they want some. Okay? And you have some men that their families have the money and they're able to make this happen. Like I said, shit don't stop in the penitentiary. You got brothers in there that are looking out for brothers. You got dads in there looking out for sons. You got moms in there looking out for sons. And, you know, if you have the money, if you have the funds, you can make this happen. So yeah, he set it up. He had his family send $250 to the CEO, Tone, and he set it up. And I never forget. He told me, he said, man, he said, at first I was nervous, I didn't know what to expect. And it's all what they say it is. Head game is superb. And I was like, damn, like, shit. All along, I'm thinking that mom and daughter, they're here to do a job. But yeah, they were doing a job, all right. Tone was pimping them, okay? He was the one collecting the money. He was the one setting everything up. The mom, Stacy, Rachel, the daughter, they were selling pussy and sucking dick in the schoolhouse, all right? And come to find out, they had been doing this already for a minute. A few people already knew. I'm thinking nobody knew, but some people already knew. Some motherfuckers that were already, locked up for a while already knew about these two. So when I found out that this was going on, I was like, damn, like, I'm in a world that's controlled, but it's not too much different from what's going on here in the streets. Like I said, you never think about pimping going on in the penitentiary. And yeah, you got pimping with inmates among inmates. I mean, it is what it is. But when you talk about a female selling pussy or sucking dick for money, you think that shit is not possible, but it is. The same way they're bringing in cell phones now. Back then, it was just starting to happen. It ain't like it is now. Now it's a common thing. County jails, state prisons, there's cell phones everywhere. Contraband, but they still get them in. But like I said, man, you didn't think about this shit back then until you were exposed to it. And in my case, me only being incarcerated at the time, probably like 5 years. I probably had been locked up about 5 years. I would ended up doing 12. But it was a lot of things that I was learning as a young man that I didn't think, were possible in prison. And this is one of the things that I realized real quick. Where there's women that, are able to make money, they're gonna do it. And wherever there is men that have the conversation, have the ability to get women to sell pussy and suck dick for them for financial gain, they're gonna do it. So you had this big old black dude, Tone, the security, and then you had the mother and daughter, white girls, selling pussy, and they were making money for him. This was going on, man, probably for about 2 years, okay? Eventually, people would start running their mouth. It got back to the administration, and they set her up. They set mom and daughter up. They ended up arresting mom and daughter. They ended up arresting Tone, the pimp, the CO that was pimping them. They were escorted off the prison, handcuffed. Like I said, once inmates start talking, snitching, because they're snitching in there going on too. The same way motherfuckers are snitching here, they're snitching in there too. For whatever reason, it goes down. You still got motherfuckers in there snitching, telling it. Somebody told it. They started doing investigations. They found out that they were going on, what was really going on, that they were doing this, they were getting down like that in the school building, and they were all three arrested. All three of them walked off to prison, and I never knew what happened to mom, Stacy, daughter Rachel, and the big security, aka Pimp, Tone. But they disappeared their ass. And it's like I tell y'all, and I tell y'all again, control environment, yes, to an extent. The shit stopped, gambling, drug use, assaults, sexual assaults, prostitution. Does it stop? Nope. It continues. Just at a different level. You have to be more discreet. And like I said, I don't glorify it. I'm not bragging about it. I'm just telling y'all the type of shit that happens in this environment. I'm just bringing y'all an eye opener to another facade of prison life. Like I said, a lot of people, they believe this shit doesn't happen. They believe that, they're in there doing time and they can't do certain things and they can't get away with certain things. Bullshit. As long as you have money and people that are willing to do something for that money, you will always find your vices, even in prison. And like I told y'all before, this is the vault. In 12 years, I saw a lot. I did a lot. And It brings me to where I'm at now. Like I said, for many years, I was part of the problem. And now that I'm a grown father, in other words, a grown man with responsibility, with children, nothing but boys, I'm here to bring awareness. I'm here to lace my youth up, something that I didn't have, and let y'all know what to expect, how to conduct yourself in certain situations. And if you ever happen to get locked up and you're looking at some time, there's rules and regulations. I'm talking to you. Much love. Like I said, man, I don't brag. I'm not here to glorify nothing. I'm just here to bring it to y'all raw and uncut, Panama's OG truth. God bless. Join me in the next one. I appreciate y'all joining me in my Prison Chronicles.